Hi YouTube, it's me, the Shy Pianist, or you may know me as Donald of Zephyr War Games, bringing you another one of my deck profiles. And as you can see from the layout, this is one of my core main decks that I have. And for this video, as you can probably tell from the title, this is going to be Fortune Ladies. So for me, this is deck number 8, YUGIOH, Fortune Ladies. So let's get straight into it. So starting straight off, starting straight off, the text card sleeves are always Magic the Gathering size, so note that on from my other sleeves. And the deck is mainly comprised for fun, but I will mention what sort of ones to take out to put in sort of more competitive tech. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So starting straight off, we have the triple Fortune Lady Light. So I'm guessing, considering how old these are, I might want to just give an explanation to them. So Fortune Lady Light, when she is removed from the field by a card effect, you can special summon one Fortune Lady monster from my deck. So with all Fortune Ladies, during the standby phase, you increase their level by 1, maximum 12. And their attack and defense are times their level. So Fortune Lady Light, its attack is 200 times its level, and once, as I just said earlier, standby phase, you increase its level by 1. So she's your go-to Fortune Lady. You want to see her, and you just want to get off her effect basically ASAP and as much as possible on that. Next, the level 2, I play 2 Fortune Lady Fire. You can bump this down to 1. Her effect is, if she is special summoned in attack position by the effect of a Fortune Lady card, destroy one face-up monster your opponent controls and inflict damage to your opponent equal to the destroyed monster's attack. So, first thing to note, it's a non-target pop. Secondly, it's like it can win you in time because it burns your opponent for game. You can play this at 1 generally because this is like something you don't want to see in your hand. You generally just want to special summon it as a last resort, pop a card, and burn for game. I'm playing it too because after several testing games, there have been instances where I played out 1, burned the opponent, and then wanted a second one to then try and burn out your opponent again. But if you generally want to see, if you want to play a hand trap instead of Fortune Lady Fire, I recommend at least just keeping the 1 in the deck for her access. Next, the level 3, Fortune Lady Wind. So Fortune Lady Wind, she is on normal summon. You can destroy a number of spell and trap cards your opponent controls equal to the number of face-up Fortune Lady monsters you control. So she is a non-target spell and trap destruction pop. So reason why I'm playing at 1 is that yes, you don't exactly need to see her. You generally just want to search her out from your future vision. Fortune Vision, sorry, and generally is just one of those you can play at 2 if depending on the format, and if there's a lot more back row heavy involved, like maybe side an extra copy in. But yeah, having 1 in the deck is just nice to have in that case. But yeah, as a non-target spell and traction pop. Next, we play the level 4 Fortune Lady Water. Fortune Lady Water, her effect is if she is special summoned while you control face-up Fortune Lady monster, except for Fortune Lady Water, you draw 2 cards. Just draw 2. So I'm playing 3 because a lot of the combos will result in, like, a lot of the times you want to just special summon her out just for the draw. And then you just keep on spamming her out just for the draw in that sense. Next, we play triple Fortune Lady Dark. So she is the beat stick generally for what you want to summon, and her effect is that Fortune Lady monsters you control, or actually, when a Fortune Lady face-up Fortune Lady monster you control destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, you can target and special summon one Fortune Lady monster from your graveyard. So once she's on the field, all your Fortune Ladies have the ability that if they destroy opponent monster by battle, and then you effectively revive any Fortune Lady monster in your graveyard. Can be another one, summon out water, draw 2, fire, pop a card. yeah, the options are there. Generally, you want to summon Fortune Lady Dark as much as possible, and she helps basically helps spams the field. Next, we have the one Fortune Lady Earth. I'm playing the one just so that you do have access to her, but not so much than the fact that you want to draw her and then brick with her. And her effect is when the level of this card increases, inflict 400 damage to your opponent. So yeah, it's just like, you know, you just standby phase, burn your opponent. So just to summarize, just on standby phase, they will gain 1 level, and Fortune Lady and Fire gain 200 times the level, Wind and Water gain 300 times the level, and Dark and Earth gain 400 times the level. So immediately, you know, 2k and 24, and then you got a 12, 900, and then 400 and 200. So like the ratios on this, you know, you can have up to you on that sense, drop like water down or fire down, or maybe increase the water, but then obviously put in hand traps in their place, or something that you just generally would prefer to have. Next, on to the most newest Fortune Lady. I played 2 Fortune Lady past. I haven't got a second one yet, but proxy in for now. So Fortune Lady Pass is the tuner of the deck now, and its attack is 200 times its level. And its effect is once per turn during your standby phase. Oh, sorry, increases level by 1. So it's the main effect is you can target one Fortune Lady monster you control, banish any number of other spellcaster monsters from your hand, field, and/or graveyard, and if you do, increase or reduce that monster's level by the number of monsters banished until the end of the turn. You're going to use this effect of Fortune Lady Pass once per turn. So the idea is that you summon her and you basically want to try and get into level 7 Synchro, because that's the Fortune Lady Every, the new Synchro monster. You can also go with other options of, like, if you decide to mix your extra deck for other sort of levels. But yeah, she basically banishes hand, field, or graveyard, increase or reduce, and then go from there. It's really good to have. And last, for rounding up the monsters, I play 2 Fortune Fairy Hikari. It's a fact, when you draw this card, reveal it, special summon it. It's fact, second effect is if this card is special summoned from the hand, you can target one monster you control as cost, send it to the graveyard, and if you do, special summon one level 1 spellcaster monster from your deck. You're going to use each effect of Fortune Lady Hikari once per turn. So the idea of Fortune Lady Hikari is to access light as much as possible, because you just want to see her and then just get her removed from the field, or alternatively access pass and then give you the tuner you need to start your players on that. So as you can see, it's pretty much just the core is just Fortune Lady and Fortune, just the one Fortune Fairy. But yeah, you can play hand traps into this. You can play any sort of variety of tech you want, or more competitive sense. But yeah, the general basis is you want to have light, you want to have dark, and water for draw power. Everything else is very optional to you on that sense. Okay, so on to the spells. So starting straight off, the best spell, Fortune Vision. This is your searcher. When this card is activated, you can add one Fortune Lady card from your deck to hand. The second effect, second part is once per turn, if a card or cards you control is banished by a card effect, except during the damage step, you can activate this card's effect. This turn, your monsters you control cannot be destroyed by card effects, even if this card leaves the field, or even if your opponent control. And then the second part is once per turn, if a card or cards your opponent controls is banished by a card effect, except during the damage step, you can make the next battle damage you take this turn become 0, even if this card leaves the field. And you can only activate one Fortune Vision per turn. So starting straight off, activate search any fortune card you want. Just great on that, and then your card gets banished. Your monsters can't be destroyed by card effects, and if your opponent banishes, then you take no battle damage. So just general all around very good. Next, we do play Fortune Lady, triple Fortune Lady Calling. I haven't picked up my playset yet, but they're like £4 each, so it's very cheap to pick up. Its effect is, if you control a Fortune Lady monster, you special summon one Fortune Lady monster from your deck with a different name from the cards you control. For the rest of this turn, after this card resolved, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck except synchro monsters. You can only activate one Fortune Lady coin per turn. So this is what I mean. You play triple water, you summon out any Fortune Ladies, play this, special out water, draw 2. Obviously, if you want to go synchro plays, summon out the past, options are there for you to go nuts on, and gives you a lot of variety and options to go with that. So these are a must-have for Fortune Ladies. Next, we play the one Terraforming and the double Future Visions. Now, Future Vision is the field spell for Fortune Ladies, and its effect is, when a monster is normal summoned, move from play that monster. During the next standby phase of the controller who summoned that monster, return it to the field in face-up tap position. Now, this is getting, I believe, a reprint, so the text may differ a bit differently, but something to note is that if you activate one, you normal summon, and your opponent then normal summons, and then if you activate a second one and your opponent still has their monster banished, they won't get it back because it's a new copy. Just a note on that, and it goes the same way for yours as well. So Future Visions is the #1 go-to card, obviously, with Fortune Lady Light. Summoned Light, Future Visions banishes it, Light effect activates, and you will special summon. Something to note is that Fortune Lady Light only goes off if it gets banished or returned to hand, and doesn't work if it goes back to deck. So you can play Compulse on this, all those sort of things that forces it to move the field. So long as you can reveal it and use its effect, then you're good to go. Rest of the spells, we play triple Spellbook of Secrets. This is just generally to search your knowledge and triple knowledge. The idea of this is that you play knowledge with Light, send it to the graveyard, draw 2, and then you'll be able to trigger off Light's effect because it's left the field by a card effect. Effectively, and then you can summon out another water, draw 2 more, and you just get a lot of pluses in terms of just draw power in that sense. Next, we play, now that Dark Hole is banned, or unlimited, play triple Dark Hole. The idea of this is to see in conjunction with Light. Though you are focusing a bit more of Light, you can bump this down to 1 or 2, depending on your preference and what you prefer to play. You generally want to just trigger off Light, hence that you would just want to see this in your hand. Alright, we have the one Monster Reborn and the double Twin Twister. Obviously, Twin Twister is for your back row destruction, you just need it in general. And Monster Reborn is just for your general sake of reviving, either for your Fortune Ladies, or you can just obviously use your opponent's monsters and go from there. And to round out the spells, which I just reminded myself to get throw in, is the one Raigeki, which is, for me, it's a standard to have in every deck. And to round up the deck, we only have the one trap, and that is the new Fortune Lady Rewind. Now, Fortune Lady Rewind allows you to target any number of your banished Fortune Lady monsters with different names, special summon them, but shuffle them into the deck during the end phase. You can only activate one Fortune Lady Rewind per turn. So the real benefit of having this is just so that because you can search off future visions, and then if you have past, then you just banish a whole bunch of Fortune Ladies, then special summon them back with Fortune Lady Rewind, Fortune Lady Rewind, and then just spam the board and go nuts on that. So that's it for the main deck. For the extra deck, we are playing 2 Fortune Lady every, or I like to dub as Hatsume Miku, just because the artwork on that is very much on sense. I haven't picked my copies yet. I haven't picked up any boxes, so apologies on if these are just proxies. But her effect is she gains 400 times 400 attack and defense times its level. Once per turn during your standby phase, increase its level by 1, max 12. Then you can banish one face-up monster your opponent controls. Just just straight up banish your opponent monster on that. The second effect, during your opponent's end phase, if this card's in your graveyard, you can banish one other spellcaster monster from your graveyard, special summon this card, and you can only use this effect or Fortune Lady every once per turn. Do note it's a 1 tuner and 1 or plus non-tuner spellcaster monsters, so it's not that generic, but you know, it's still generic enough for spellcasters, and it's a very nice synchro monster to have. Obviously, it can revive itself during your opponent's end phase, and then during back to your turn, standby phase, banish one of your opponent's monsters. So very good on that. For other levels of synchros, because if you do play Fortune Lady Calling, you are locked into synchros. So I got a level 5 target. I play Armades. You can play like Chambara, you know, or whatever preference on that. A level 6 synchro. My personal preference is Coral Dragon, and just another level 7. I go with Black Rose Dragon, or you can obviously go with like Clearing and all that stuff. Level 8, I go for the 1 Bills and the 1 Crystal Wing, simply because Crystal Wing is actually it is fairly easy to get out, assuming that, you know, you just get your Fortune at every, and then summon out Pass, and then you just go into Crystal Wing. Bills is also an optional attack because your Fortune Lady Pass is a Dark Tuner. Just more on that. For links, play the 1 Link Rebo, because your level 1s light, you know, just if you do need an event, you need to get rid of it. Obviously you won't get its effect, but Link Rebo is better to have than nothing. The 1 Crowley, because you do have the free secrets and free knowledge, but obviously the second part is that you can normal summon a level 5 or higher monster without tributing. So summon your Dark, and you just attack monster, revive the monsters that you use to link summon it. The 1 Nightmare Phoenix and the 1 Cerberus, just for generic pops, and the 1 Beat Cop, just to make, in case you do fill out your extra deck with something and then you do need to get rid of it. The 1 Unicorn, generic on that, and I believe the 1 Borrowloan and Borrow Sword, just options on that. I generally prefer to play the links and synchros rather than, you can play XYZ, simply because just trying to manage your levels with Fortune Ladies is a bit more harder to come by than so. There are times you can go for XYZs, and like you just all wait it out into the higher levels and then make a higher rank. But I just simply prefer, like, it's just much more easier to go into links and synchros on that part. So that is it for the deck profile. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I do apologize. I've been noted that my background does cause a bit of issues to some viewers. Big apologies on that. But this is how my format is, because the idea of this is to show any deck that I reveal is part from the family, if you would call this. But yeah. Sorry on that again. So thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. And as always guys, happy dueling!